Okay, part 3. So, old Candy, George, and Lenny have just talked about going in on this farm together. Candy's got a lot of money saved up, a substantial sum for those guys, because he got paid when he got sort of bought out, I guess, when he lost his hand. So he's got $350 coming to him by the end of the month, and he said something about another $30, and George and Lenny are going to throw in $100 at the end of the month. So they've got this plan now that they're going to go and buy this farm from this old couple that George knows. Lenny and Candy nodded. They were grinning with delight. "Don't tell nobody," Lenny said to himself. Candy said, "George, huh? I ought to shot that dog myself. George, I shouldn't have let no stranger shoot my dog." The door opened. Slim came in, followed by Curly and Carlson and Whit. Slim's hands were black with tar, and he was scowling. Curly hung close to his elbow. Curly said, "Well, I didn't mean nothing, Slim. I just asked you." Slim said, "Well, you've been asking me too often. I'm getting damn sick of it. If you can't look after your own goddamn wife, what do you expect me to do about it?" You lay off of me," Slim said. "I was just trying to tell you I didn't mean nothing," said Curly. "I just thought you might have saw her." "Why don't you tell her to stay at home, where she belongs? You let her hang around bunkhouses, and pretty soon you're going to have something in your hands you won't be able to do nothing about." Curly whirled around. Carlson said that last bit. Curly whirled around at Carlson. "You keep out of this, unless you want to step outside, Carlson." Carlson laughed. "You goddamn punk," he said. "You tried to throw a scare into Slim, and you couldn't make it stick. Slim throwed a scare into you. You're yellow as a yellow-belly frog. I don't care if you're the best wrestler in the country. You come after me, I'll kick your goddamn head off." Candy joined in the attack with joy. "Glove full of Vaseline," he said disgustedly. Curly glared at him. His eyes slipped on past and lighted on Lenny. Lenny was still smiling at the delight in the memory of the ranch. Curly stepped over to Lenny like a terrier. "What the hell you laughing at, boy?" Lenny looked back at him. "Huh? Me?" And Curly's rage exploded. "Come on, you big bastard, up on your feet. No big son of a bitch is gonna laugh at me. I'll show y'all who's yella." So Lenny, who's sitting on the bunk, is thinking about the rabbits. He's smiling, and the other guys are piling on Curly, who clearly don't respect Curly. So Carlson, Slim, Candy are making jokes, and Lenny's still thinking. He's smiling, thinking about the rabbits, and Curly, of course, thinks he's smiling because they're laughing. He's making fun of him. "Come over, you big son of a bitch. I'll show you who's yella." Lenny looked helplessly at George, and then he got up and tried to retreat. Curly was balanced and poised. He lashed out at Lenny with a left fist and smashed down on his nose with a right. Lenny gave a cry of terror. Blood welled from his nose. "George!" he cried. "Make him let me alone, George!" He backed until he was against the wall, and Curly followed him, slugging him in the face. Lenny's hands remained at his side. He was too frightened to defend himself. George got on his feet, yelling, "Get him, Lenny! Don't let him do it!" Lenny covered his face with his huge paws and bleated with terror. He cried, "Make him stop, George!" Then Curly attacked his stomach to cut off his wind. Slim jumped up. "A dirty little rat," he cried. "I'll get him myself." George put a hand on and grabbed Slim. "Wait a minute," he shouted. "Go get him, Lenny! Go get him!" Lenny took his hands away from his face and looked about for George. And Curly slashed at his eyes. The big face was covered with blood. George yelled again, "I said get him!" Curly's fist was swinging when Lenny reached out for it. The next minute, Curly was flopping like a fish on a line as his closed fist was lost into Lenny's big hand. George ran down the room. "Let go of him, Lenny! Let go! Let go now!" But Lenny watched in terror at the flopping man whom he held. Blood ran down Lenny's face, on his eyes as if his eyes were cut and closed. George slapped him again and again. Still, Lenny held on to the closed fist. So Lenny's got him like this, right? He's just crushing this guy's hand in his fist. Sorry, he's got these bear paws. Curly was white and shrunken by now, and he was struggling, and he had become weak. He stood crying, his fist still lost in Lenny's paw. George shouted over and over, "Let go his hand, Lenny, let go! Slim, come help me with the guy. He's got it while he's still got some hand left." Suddenly, Lenny let go of his hold. He crouched cowering at the wall. "You told me to, George," he said miserably. Curly sat down on the floor, looking in wonder at his crushed hand. Slim and Carlson bent over him. Then Slim straightened up and regarded Lenny with horror. "We gotta get him to a doctor," he said. Looks like he's got every bone in his looks like every bone in his hand is bust. I didn't want to, Lenny cried. I didn't want to hurt him. Slim said, Carlson, you get the candy wagon hitched up. We'll take him into Soledad and get him fixed up. Carlson hurried out. Slim turned to the whimpering Lenny. It ain't your fault, he said. This punk sure had it coming, but Jesus, he ain't hardly got no hand left. Slim hurried out, and in the moments he returned with a tin cup of water. He held it to Curly's lips. George said, Slim, we gonna get canned now? We need the steak. Will Curly's old man can us now? Slim smiled wryly. He knelt down beside Curly. What do you guys think he's gonna say? He knelt down beside Curly. You got your senses in your hand enough to listen? Curly nodded. Well, then listen. Slim went on. I think your hand got caught in a machine. If you don't tell nobody what happened, we ain't gonna tell nobody. But just you try and get this guy canned and we'll tell everybody. We'll tell everybody and then everybody's gonna laugh. I won't tell, said Curly. He avoided looking at Lenny. Buggy wheels sounded outside. Slim helped Curly up. Come on now. Curly's gonna take you to the doctor. Carlson's gonna take you to the doctor. He helped Curly out the door. The sound of the wheels drew away, and in a moment Slim came back into the bunkhouse. He looked at Lenny, still crouched fearfully against the wall. Let me see your hands, Lenny, he said. Lenny stuck out his hands. Christ almighty, I hate to have you mad at me, Slim said. George broke in. Lenny was just scared, he explained. He didn't know what to do. I told you nobody ought to ever fight him. No, I guess it was Candy I told. Candy nodded solemnly. That's right. That's what you said. Right this morning when Curly first entered your little friend, you said, he better not fool with us. Lenny's gonna tie him up. George turned to Lenny. It ain't your fault, Lenny. You don't need to be scared no more. You done just what I told you to. Maybe you better go in the washroom and clean up your face. You look like hell. Lenny smiled with his bruised mouth. I didn't want to get no trouble, he said. He walked to the door, but before he went in, he turned back. George? What do you want? Can I still tend to the rabbits, George? Sure, Lenny, you ain't done nothing wrong. I didn't mean no harm, George. Well, get the hell out and wash your face. So that's the end of part 3. So part 3 ends, just to give you guys some heads up here. So that was page 80. We've got 110 pages or so. So we're more than halfway through the book. So we're going to post questions tomorrow, discussion questions. Please listen to the entire read aloud. It's a long one. This was 25 minutes today. Sorry, 45 minutes today we read. But please read it, and please read all the questions. If you're unsure about how to answer a question, send me an email. We can talk about it. Because what we don't want is we don't want to get into a situation where we're just I'm asking questions and people aren't answering, right? So please participate when we come in. It's going to be Thursday this time at 1 o'clock. Neighbor's cat again. Thursday at 1 o'clock. And then we'll discuss them then. But be ready to discuss all the questions. And again, if you're not sure about a question, please email me. A bunch of you did last week. That's fine. Okay? We don't want to hear crickets when we're asking questions out there. All right. Enjoy those questions. We're doing some math on Wednesday. And we'll take this up Thursday. And have a great day again, Anakwe. Au revoir.